What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back to review TylerPerry's Sistas. You guys should already know that I was coming back for the second half of the third season. So this was season 3, episode 12. The episode was titled The Dollar Store. I have no idea why that was the title, but let's jump right into it. So we first start off with Maurice and Q. Maurice is held at gunpoint because Q was telling him to hurry up, get dressed, because we about to go rob this bank, right? Here's my thing. Maurice brought all of this on himself because there is no reason why he should have ever slept with Q. He should have never given Q a second chance. Q should be in jail right now, to be honest. That is where I stand with that. Now, as far as Maurice trying to buy time and talk about how, he would never be caught wearing these two pieces of clothing together, I'm just like, this scene is running a bit long for me. Tyler, speed it up. All I know is that now Q thinks that he needs to get Sabrina involved because Maurice told him, only a manager can open up the vault, and I can only open up the front door. I'm like, oh, God. So now Sabrina is going to be brought into this, as aggy as she is. Just great. Let's go ahead and move on, because then we jump on over to Karen and Aaron. So they're sitting there, because remember they had that little Netflix and chill moment. They were supposed to watch a movie together or whatever. Movie's over. Next thing you know, they're having this conversation about what he said to her, which was, yeah, Karen, I want to marry you because after I slept with you, I can't be in the congregation anymore. That's basically what's happening here. And what's interesting in this conversation is the fact that he's like telling her that he loves her and all this stuff. And I'm just like, y'all not even official. Can y'all get an official 1 month together? Y'all have been talking all this time, but you guys have not been together. Let's just call a thing here. Also, what bothers me about Karen and Aaron's relationship is the fact that they sit up there and talk about her relationship with Zach so much that I'm starting to question, when are you guys going to put in the same effort into each other? Like, Aaron, when are you going to go take her out on a date or something? I'm over Karen talking about her feelings about Zach. We get it. You still love him. You still like him. If you feel that way, stop stringing Aaron along. Oh, but here's the kicker. Aaron wants to be strung along. Aaron said, I'm going to prove to you that I'm the man for you. He knows it in his soul, y'all. It is his soul's mission to be Karen's man. I said, you know what, Aaron, I'm just going to go ahead and let you have that. I'm going to let you dig yourself so deep into Karen, and hopefully she cares about you the same at some point. Hopefully she tells you that she loves you as well and truly mean it. Because even though she told Aaron that, I feel like there was a lot of doubt and question in what Karen was saying. I understand that, it's only been a couple of days since she smashed, she smashed Zach. And it's only been a few, days or hours since he told her that there's going to be no more of them. He's moving on. But again, I need Karen to be solo dolo for a minute. Gather her thoughts, gather her feelings, figure out what Karen actually wants and what Karen needs to do to move on from Zach. Because clearly that theory of, the way you get over somebody is under somebody else, that shit ain't working for her. So I'm going to need for Tyler to figure it out with Karen's character, okay? Now let's go ahead and move on to Miss Andy and Mr. Robin. Because they out here getting hot and heavy in the office. And I mean, grabbing bodies, kissing, making out, all of that, right? Until Andy is like, ooh, wait, no, this is too much. She has to step away. And her and Robin had this conversation about how, she can't be doing this because, she's engaged and all this stuff. It's like, girl, you are no longer engaged. You took the damn ring off. You told Gary to get the hell out of your house. Technically, I think you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Also, I think it was interesting that Robin was saying that he can control himself. He can contain himself. And Andy's like, yeah, but your D was hard. So let's not sit up here and act like if Andy wouldn't have said, like, let's stop, things wouldn't have escalated. I mean, come on. So the crazy thing about this conversation to me that Andy and, what's his name, Robin had, was the fact that Andy had asked him, like, why he was single. And he's like, well, I'm basically just waiting on the right girl to come around. And Andy is like, oh, I can see, a guy with your looks and your credentials dating around. And I'm like, okay, his looks and his credentials should not be the only thing that you're focused on right about now, Andy. What type of person is Robin? Because he did something later on in the show that really was a red flag for me. Also in this scene, he did something that was a red flag to me, because he said that he was supposed to be going back to wherever the hell he came from. What was it, the UK, London, one of those places. He's supposed to go back there, right? He basically tried to convince her to go ahead and let him smash so that he can have the memories of what they did in the office. Sir, you better use your goddamn fantasy, okay? The same way you were fantasizing about her when you were in London, you can keep on fantasizing. Like, I did appreciate the fact that Andy did not sleep with him. However, this also brings me back to Andy. Andy has a terrible habit of having men just waiting around for her whenever shit goes wrong with Gary. I think it's crazy how many times Tyler has written that whenever shit goes wrong with Gary, she just magically has a man who wants her right then and there at her beck and call. The shit is crazy to me, because this is the same thing that happened with Paris. The same thing. Gary pisses her off. She goes and makes out with another guy, almost has sex with him. Well, she actually had sex with Paris. And then she goes back to Gary. So now you have this situation here where she almost sleeps with Robin because she's pissed off at Gary. And I'm just like, you need some type of self-control, sweetheart. Again, another woman on the show. Work on yourself before you sit up here and lay up with somebody else. Because I'm telling you, Tyler is really proving that theory of laying up under somebody else to get over somebody, it's failing. It's really failing. Especially once she went to go talk to Gary. Now, we're going to get there. Because let's just go ahead and talk about little Miss Sabrina and Calvin. Y'all, I'm about fed the fuck up. I'm tired of Sabrina. I'm tired of Calvin. We've been tired for a while, y'all. Y'all know that we have all been tired. So, they laying in bed. And they're just like, oh my God, it was so great. I missed you so much. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, okay, Sabrina. What's interesting is when they're laying in bed, Calvin tells her, so are we seeing other people? Because as we all know, he still got his white girl in the cut, okay? Just in case things with Sabrina don't work out. You feel me? So, you have him saying that to Sabrina. Sabrina's like, no, I don't think so. And he even tosses her a bone and says, oh, well, even if it's that guy from the bank, just let me know. And she's like, no, it wouldn't be him. I'm just like, you are really trying to basically tell her, oh, if you go do some shit on the side, I ain't gonna trip because I still got my white girl right over here just in case. Because he never even mentioned to Sabrina that he still had this girl on the side. And that is one thing about this whole breakup thing that Calvin and Sabrina had that blows my mind, is that Calvin always had somebody on the side. He had the black girl who's supposed to be like his really close friend. He got this white girl right here. While you out here seeing Sabrina stress the hell out because something went down with her and Jacoby. Talk about double standards here. So, next thing you know, at some point he tells Sabrina, oh yeah, because I love you or whatever. And she doesn't say it back. I said, didn't we just have this conversation with Aaron and Karen telling each other I love you without a real relationship? Okay, TylerPerry. But anyways, he tells her, you don't have to say it right now. Just say it when the time is right. Blase, blah. I'm just like, Sabrina, you do not love this man. You don't even like this man, okay? You really don't. I'm really trying to understand and grasp at straws to figure out why Sabrina is dating Calvin. I need for y'all to drop down in the comments and let me know why Sabrina is dating Calvin. Because they have nothing in common. They're not on the same playing field. She don't like this man. She allows her friends to call him the panty man. Hell, she ended up telling her friends all that man's business because she found him to be very strange and something that she was not attracted to. Let's be honest here. But let's just go ahead and move along. So we now get to the scene with Andy coming home, and of course, Gary is still there, even though she told him that he needs to leave her house last night. Him, his therapist, and the therapist homegirl. But when she walks in, Gary is like, oh, well, where have you been? And her answer is, oh, I've been at the gym. And he's like, oh, with that on? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, you not recognize it straight off the bat that she's like telling you exactly what you've been telling her? I really found it interesting that Gary said that she had no respect for him. But I'm just like, listen, you had a full-on therapy session with your therapist and the therapist's homegirl, right? But at the same time, I could have swore that you told Andy that you guys are supposed to have a session together. How many hours are you spending with this therapist, Gary? Make it make sense, because what you were getting into with that therapist, that seemed like that was going to be a good hour long, project. Then at what point were you supposed to meet up with Andy so that y'all can talk to the therapist? Please let me know. And how much are you paying this therapist? Now, I will say this, that the therapist was right about one thing. The fact that she said that Andy is a personality trait that loves drama, that is very, very true. Because Andy could have nipped so much stuff in the bud, but no, she prolonged it. She wanted to stay in the mess when she could have got out of it a long time ago. So at one point, Gary is like, yeah, we were supposed to be married. And Andy is like, yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen. And I'm just like, so is this officially y'all breaking up? This is the end of the Gary and Andy saga? I would really hope so, because we're all tired. We're all drained and tired of Andy and Gary's mess. And it's crazy to me that the straw that broke the camel's back was this therapy session. Like, Andy, girl, him having a whole wife should have been where the story ended with y'all too. But we gonna rock with it anyways. So what threw me off was when Andy was like, are you going somewhere? Because he was getting ready to leave. Girl, you should not be concerned. You just told this man to get out of your house. You need to keep that same energy and make sure that he leaves. Because right when he leaves, you need to go ahead and call downstairs and be like, listen, I need my locks changed ASAP. Because this needs to be over between Andy and Gary. So at some point, he's like, yeah, I gotta go out because I have to work out this tension. And she's like, well, you're not working it out in the bedroom, making a dig at him. And I'm just like, all right, Andy, you try to be real petty, but then you got mad at the fact that he called you out for loving drama. Can't play it both ways, baby girl. All right, now let's go ahead and move on over to the couple who's actually happy, with each other. And that would be Fatima and Zach. They are in bed, and she's like, trying to get up so that she can go get ready for work. Of course, he doesn't want her to get up. He's trying to get another session in like he always is. And they just basically have this conversation about him going to go look at a townhouse that is a foreclosure. And, he wants her to come see it with him. And I'm just like, you know what? I am happy that they are making progress, because I'm sorry, a lot of the other relationships on this show is very stagnant. At least he's trying to really put in the effort to do things with Fatima. Like, he is really trying, I feel, to get Karen out of his system and solely focus on Fatima at this point. And I hope that he continues to do that. Now, one thing about this is that Tyler loves to circle back to Zach thanking her and talk about how he wouldn't be the man that he is now without her. And like, all right, I get it. But Tyler, we've got to stop having this conversation. We've got to stop recycling the conversations that some of these couples have been having. Also, I thought it was, as corny as this was, it was cute that he was like, oh, I want to call you Lawyer Bay and you can call me Real Estate Bay. Just because I completely forgot that Fatima is at some point trying to become a lawyer. Which I can totally see her, being a lawyer and not just being an assistant to Andy. So, at one point in the conversation, though, Fatima was basically saying that she's falling hard for Zach, and she's getting to the point where she doesn't want to date other people. But I could have sworn that we already established that they were going to be exclusive. Or am I tripping? Like, I thought she was going to go ahead and let go of all her other guys, and then solely focus on Zach. Maybe I'm tripping. Y'all let me know in the comments below. Let's just go ahead and move along because as we already know, they got another session in. Alright, so next we have Danni popping up at Sabrina's house. And Sabrina's house looks a mess. And Danni is like, I've been calling you. You haven't been answering or whatever. And she's like, why does your apartment look like this? She's like, oh, me and Calvin. And of course, Danni doesn't want to hear about that. She only wants to talk about her and Preston. Now, I will say this. I feel like if it was any other guy that Sabrina was talking about, maybe Danni would have wanted to listen. But with Calvin, she never wants to hear what's happening. Alright, so let's just go ahead and talk about what Danni wants to talk about. And that is her and Preston. Preston left her house because she said that she wanted space. And now she's whining about it. Y'all, I'm tired of Danni pushing this man away. I really am. Like, at a certain point, either she's going to stick it out with Preston or she's just going to go ahead and let him go. Because it makes no sense that she continues to push him away unnecessarily. And on top of that, it hasn't even been that long since he left her house. Like, it has literally been a few hours. Why are you whining about him not calling you? Girl, relax and stop acting like the phone don't work both ways. Alright, let's just go ahead and move along because let's talk about Fatima and this phone call that she gets from Zach. So Zach is basically telling her that he needs to go see the place now, but he wants to do it with her. And again, you guys, this is what I mean by he's making the effort to really be about Fatima. Because he could have easily just went on ahead, went to go see the property, told her about it later. But I feel like the fact that he's being upfront and being like, yeah, they told me to come right now. Is there any way you can get off work? He's really trying. So I'm supporting, Fatima and Zach right now. And of course, she's like, no, I can't get off work. I just got here an hour ago. The partners are here. I can't get off work. Y'all, I fell out when he was like, why not? Them girls, they be leaving their jobs all the time to start, getting other people drama. I was like, yep, that is true. Because we have seen Sabrina leave the bank randomly. We have seen Danni leave the airport. We for sure have seen Karen leave the shop. And Andy just be making up her own damn hours at the law office. So Zach told no lies. So Fatima ended up telling him that she would definitely meet up with him later so that way they could go see the property or whatever together. He said that he would pick her up, his new whip. I'm still trying to figure out how Zach is doing all of this within less than 24 hours of having this money. But you know what? Do you, baby boy. Do you. Let me just get to this part. So once Fatima hangs up the phone, y'all, we jump over to Hayden. He was listening in on the conversation. The fact that he has her phone tapped is mind-blowing to me. Like, how sick in the head is Hayden at this point? He over here talking about some, oh yeah, how can he afford to buy a house and have a new car? He got to be doing something illegal. Why does it matter to you, sir? Let it go. Like, whew, Hayden is a problem. He is a serious problem that has to go. Because Hayden ends up taking this a few steps further, because he walked his happy-go-lucky ass right over to Fatima's office and will start asking all these questions about Zach and how he quit Chain Breakers. Why did he quit Chain Breakers? He knows that he needs the money. Oh, I heard that he also quit his job at the airport. If Fatima is already over it, she's like, dang, do you want to be with him? Because why are you asking all these questions about him? Like, let it go. Like, she even calls him a ban, a B-A-N, you know, a bitch-ass nigga. And I'm just like, well, she didn't lie. Like, Hayden, what are you doing right now? I'm telling y'all, Hayden, I feel like he's going to be a problem the whole rest of this season 3. I really feel that way. And even though Fatima thinks that she, you know, has the upper hand on Hayden, I mean, wait till she finds out that her phone is tapped. But let's go ahead and move along, because Fatima ends up getting a call from Andy. So she goes into her office, and Andy basically tells her that at some point she needs to talk to her. And Fatima says that she also needs to talk to Andy. So there are some things that need to be said between these ladies. Cool. But Andy needs to go ahead and go to the conference room, right? This is where more mess ensues when it comes to Andy. And also, this is when I finally paid attention to what Andy has on. I don't know what type of law office this is, but the dress that Andy has on, it's like this deep V, and she basically has on like a lingerie bustier underneath that dress. Have y'all noticed that? I'm just like, girl, you can now wear that at the office. I don't know what's happening here, but okay, girl. Anyways, Andy gets in there or whatever. The old white man is like, oh, have you met Robin? He's from the UK branch, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait, y'all worked on that case together. And the guy was like, oh, hopefully she didn't go too hard on you. And Robin is like, no, she went just hard enough, right? You can clearly tell that there was some type of sexual energy. That was a sexually charged message that he just said. And who caught on to it? Hayden. So basically, the white man is like, I want you and Hayden to bring him up to speed on everything that's happening around here, because we are now partnering with the UK branch and we're going to be opening out there. Keep in mind, that is what this man just told Andy, because Robin told her something different, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So, white man leaves out, and of course, like I said, Hayden caught on to Andy and Robin, and he basically said something along the lines of, oh, I'm pretty sure you want to have him first, so go ahead, Andy. Now, I don't understand why Andy and Robin were so worked up about the statement that Hayden made. I don't feel like it was that wrong, considering he just picked up on what y'all was putting down. He picked up on the energy of the room. Also, no offense, but like, of course, Hayden is definitely an a-hole, considering the way he was reacting to Robin, and like how he kept saying, I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking to her, and all that foolishness. But he wasn't wrong. Y'all know what I'm saying? So I can't even be mad, really, at Hayden. But anyways, Hayden gets shut down by Robin. So Hayden ends up leaving out the room, right? And actually, before I move on, now that I think about it and what Hayden said, Hayden literally said, I work in taxes and something else. Basically, a total different department than Robin and Andy. So now that I think about it, he definitely was making sense when he said, do you want to have him first? Considering, Andy, you're going to have to show him the ropes of how things are done for your department mainly, because you guys work in the same department. Yeah, now I think about it, Hayden technically wasn't in the wrong. But that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and move on with this conversation. So boom, here's what happens. So Hayden leaves. You have Andy and Robin there. She thanks him for kind of like taking up for her. But here's the kicker. Again, here we go with the red flag that I was mentioning earlier about Robin. Baby boy has to let the cat out the bag that actually this merger is my company from the UK taking over this law firm right here. Even though that is not what this white man just told her. So I'm just like, okay, there's a bunch of lies and confusion here. Then on top of that, come to find out, oh, he's going to actually be Andy's boss. And while he was in the UK, they basically researched everybody who worked there. And he has a whole file on her. So he knew about all the cases with Gary. He knew about all the drama and stuff that she had been through. Then he had the audacity to send her some link to a file talking about that's all you need to know about me. It's all in the file. Even to me like an avocado toast. Sir, that is not the same. You literally had an entire, I don't know how long, to sit there, read about Andy's life, go through the file, all this stuff, without her telling you this information. It's not okay at all. And also another red flag for me was when he was like, yeah, I know that you're going to, keep this information just between us. And I'm just like, sir, that sounds like you've done this before. You have dated women who worked under you, and you were like, you got to keep this between me and you. I don't know. Robin is a little bit sketchy to me. Let me know what y'all think. Alright, y'all, let's go ahead and move on to the last scene, and that is Sabrina. She is entering the bank. The lights are off. She like, what the heck is going on here? Because Maurice was supposed to open. So baby girl gives Maurice a call and is like going off on him, like, how am I supposed to trust you? You were supposed to open the bank. I know that I'm late, but this was still your responsibility. All this stuff. Talking about she gonna write him up and everything. Baby girl hangs up the phone, puts her phone down, and next thing you know, all you hear is, put the phone down. And of course, it is Q. He has Maurice at gunpoint. And she turns around, of course. And she's like, oh my gosh, Maurice. And Maurice is like, just do whatever he says. And that is where the episode left off. I did kind of like the fact that we left off on a cliffhanger. But besides that, this episode was pretty slow. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.